Welcome to another exciting episode of Cooking with PRTC. I'm your host, Mark McRoy. Today we're going to make homemade biscuits from scratch, and we're going to top it off with pan-fried shrimp with a heavy cream sauce and a little bit of spinach and mushrooms on the side. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back. We're going to start here with a little bit of pepper, because peppers are always good for everything. What we're going to do is just take these out, get the seeds and the meat out. Then we're going to cut these little puppies up. And what we're going to do is, since some people don't care for hot stuff and some people do, we're going to split the biscuits in half. We're going to make half of them plain, and then we're going to put some cheese and some peppers in the other half, just so we can make it interesting. Let you see how versatile these are. I had a really good story about this. A couple of years ago, I was fortunate enough to be invited out to California to try out for one of these cooking shows. Because they made you sign a 19-page document before you go, I can't tell which one it was. But it had Jeff Foxworthy on it, and it was on one of the major networks. Anyway, you go out there and they asked you to bake this, and you baked it. And then they asked you to tell about your favorite recipe, and you had to put together different things for them. But then you got out there and they took you to this beautiful location, which was the Williams-Sonoma Cordon Bleu University. And I mean, it was great. They had all these beautiful cooking stations, 6-burner gas stoves, just a humongous 3-door oven, stainless steel cooking station, every imaginable appliance you could have. And they had all these really nice people who tried out for the show, all of whom beat me. But it was funny because you could tell the Southerners, primarily by the way we talk. But you get there and they had all your stuff laid out for you, your prime ingredients. And then you get there and they were like, turn over your recipe card and we're going to show you what you're going to make. You turned it over and it was biscuits. It was so funny because I looked around and all the Southern people looked at each other. It was just like, biscuits. It was hysterical. But they gave you a recipe and they didn't let you vary from it very much. All right. Got a little olive oil in there. I'll let that heat up and just caramelize, wilt a little bit. Okay. Now, the first thing you want to remember when you're cooking with this much flour or you're making biscuits is to take off your jewelry. If not, if your ladies are wearing a wedding band, it's going to be a big fluffy white piece of nothing mess. All right, 2 cups of flour, and I like Adaloo, which is a good Southern flour. 2/3 quarter cup of really good buttermilk, because there's no such thing as bad buttermilk. Okay. And 3 tablespoons of softened shortening. You can use lard, you can use oil. I just think butter's the greatest thing in the world, so that's what we're going to use. Stir that up a little bit. Okay. There's no 2 ways around it. A little bit of salt. Okay. And about 3 tablespoons of baking powder. And we're using the baking powder because we're using all-purpose flour. If you're using self-rising flour, it's just going to have a little bit different texture to it. And if you use all-purpose flour without putting in the baking soda, you'll end up with hockey pucks. Like I said, there's no other way to do this. Just get in there. And that's why you take off your jewelry. Talk about the local grocery stores, the local shrimpers, the local everybody. If you can buy from somebody, I always think it's better to buy from somebody you know. That's why I like Adaloo. It's made right there in Columbia, South Carolina, and it's good flour. Can't go wrong with it. It was funny when you're out there and they had all these chefs that were asking you all these questions about your biscuits. They're like, well, what kind of consistency were you looking for when you were making your dough or your batter? It's like, I wanted it to feel like a biscuit. Evidently, they don't do much biscuits out in California. Or if they do, they don't do them like we do. Okay. You see, just all comes together, just like that. Now, we're going to add a little bit more flour to this because you don't want it to stick to your hand, and that's the consistency you're going to look for. Okay. Because baking is not an exact science, you have to add a little bit more. And again, the only way to figure out what you're doing is to get your hands in there. Mix it up. It's coming together just perfect. And the next time you do it, the measurements might just be perfect. If you're going to use lard, which again has a really high fat and all that sort of good stuff in it, I like butter flavored Crisco. It's like the best of both worlds. You get to try all your different fats to hold it together, but it also allows you to have the flavor of butter. And even artificial butter is better than no butter at all. Okay. A little bit more flour. And that's the consistency you want. You want it to be consistent like a biscuit. Okay. Okay. Got that. A little of this. Okay. If you've got a rolling pin, those are kind of neat. If you don't, you can use a big bottle, something round obviously. Put a little flour on that and then just use it to roll it. If you don't, this is perfect. Just kind of play it by ear. After all, it's not rocket science. Okay, get all this off your fingers. This really is fun. It's almost as much fun as making mud pies, but you get to eat these. We're going to go about a 1/2 inch thick on this. Roll it over one time. Got a little flour on there. It's just going to add a little bit more flavor. And what we're going to do, since we don't know if people like hot stuff or they just like plain biscuits, I'm going to make about 4 just plain. And then I'm going to add some of these other ingredients, the peppers that we just had, and some of the cheese. And we're going to put it all on the same cookie sheet, and then we're just going to bake them right up. What we're going to top this with is going to be a lot of fun, because you know you can't go bad with shrimp. Okay, right at the edge, twist it one time, and then your biscuit comes out. If you want smaller ones, use a smaller glass. You want bigger ones, use a bigger glass. And just shake it around a little bit. And then we've got our 4 biscuits. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this, knead it all back together, and add the peppers and a little onion. And we're going to make a little bit of a different biscuit. Okay. Measurements are not that strict or important. A little cheese, that's Parmesan. A little bit of cheddar. And again, if you like it real hot, put a little Tabasco in it. Okay. Okay. Put that right there. This is going to add a little bit more liquid to it, which, to be honest with you, it might need, because the the extra dry ingredients, which are the cheeses. Put that in there. Plus it makes it real pretty. All that green and orange. Almost makes you feel like Christmas. Okay. Unlike your hamburger, you can just keep kneading this as much as you want to. It's not going to make any difference once you get to that consistency you want. A little flour there to keep it from sticking. Flatten those puppies out. Just eyeball it. It's going to be about the same. Okay. Okay. You're going to love these. Okay. 1. 2. I'm determined to get 4 out of this, in case y'all didn't know. If 12 is a magic number for you, make them thinner. Or you can double the recipe. It's amazing how that just comes out. Okay. Okay, that gives us a total of 8. 4 of each. Okay, we've preheated our oven at 475 degrees. We're going to put these on a cookie sheet, and I'm going to spray it with a little Pam or shortening, and we're going to put them right in the oven. Nice, light, and fluffy. Okay. All right, I'm going to put these in the oven. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Cooking with PRTC. We're going to put our shrimp into our preheated frying pan with our garlic and olive oil. It smells wonderful. Hoping the audio's picking up on all that. Shrimp, as I'm sure most of you know, living in South Carolina, is rather delicate. We're going to put it in there. All it has to do is start to change color. We'll flip it over and we'll cook the other side. Special thanks to Jason for helping us peel the shrimp off camera so you didn't have to sit here and watch us do it. Okay. Over here we started our sauce. All we did was melt a little butter. We're going to add a little flour to that, a little salt, some heavy cream, and a touch of Tabasco. And I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, but we're going to add some white wine to something. A little Texas Pete Tabasco sauce, whichever one you prefer. You see the shrimp starting to change color. Just flip it right over. It's like the old joke about the kid in the blacksmith shop. You can do this with your fingers. It just doesn't take you long to look at a horseshoe. It really goes quickly. Shrimp, I swear it's hard to mess it up. But if you cook it too long, it starts to taste like rubber. And that is not a good thing. Little guys gave their life for you to have a good meal. Least you can do is not overcook them. Oh man, this smells good. Okay. You can see we're going to let that sit in there till the other side changes color. We'll take that out, put it in a bowl, and put it in the next batch. We're going to keep the olive oil and everything in there And just that way we just won't have to re-season the pan. Wow. That just about takes your breath away with the garlic, the butter, and the Tabasco sauce. Woo, that's strong. Gotta be careful not to breathe too deep around that. Okay, this is done. We'll take this out and put in another batch. We'll be right back. We've got our flour, a little bit of butter, a little bit of olive oil, and all we're gonna do is make a really fast, simple white sauce. All this does is give it a little texture. If you added more flour, you would make a gravy. Try and get all the clumps out so it's nice and smooth. Just a touch, because I never know when to stop. Okay, we'll take that off real quick. Flip these shrimpies over again. Man, that garlic is just starting to really roast. It is smelling wonderful. Okay. Got that like so. Okay. Turned all the way pink. Might have let it cook a little bit too long. I'm going to let that sit there for just a second. Okay. Now we've got this. Like you can see, all the flour is dissolved. Put a little artery stopping cream in there. Shrimp is done. Take that off. Okay. If you really want to, you can do this and just cook the shrimp in there. Makes kind of a shrimp chowder, if you will. Okay. Now, if this isn't as thick as you want it, it's just tough luck, because you cannot add more flour to it. If you do, it'll clump up and it'll just be nasty. So you need to figure that out. This is nice and creamy. It's good flavor. It'll be perfect just how it is. We're going to leave that right there. Take these shrimp out, put them with the other little shrimpies. This frying pan is perfect right now. It's got all your garlic, your shrimp, your seasoning in there. And like I said, it's just about perfect. So what we're going to do is put it right back on here, on your heat, and we're on a medium heat. Add just a touch more oil, make sure it's nice and lubricated, and we're going to dump some spinach in there. And that's going to be our side dish. If you have onions, or if you have mushrooms and you want those in there, it'll be perfect to add that to it, but this is going to be great just how it is. Okay. Let that sit for just a minute and wilt. We'll put all this in a bowl, get ready to serve it, and let's try it. It's going to be great. Come back. Welcome back to Cooking with PRTC. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Paula and Dan to be our guinea pigs today. We're having our homemade biscuits with shrimp and a white sauce. I did add a little white wine while you were gone, and some fried spinach. Y'all give us a try and let's see what you think about it. Dan's trying the biscuits with the jalapenos and cheese. Paula wasn't feeling quite as brave, so she's having the plain biscuits with the white sauce. I did use white wine. If you've got cooking sherry or just a really good sherry, it does make it a little bit richer and it adds flavor. It's not necessarily better, it's just different.
Very good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And the shrimp matches your shirt, Paula. Thank you. Y'all know how much planning that took. Thank y'all for joining us again. We'll see you next time on Cooking with PRTC.